Welcome to Divinely Driven Results, where you learn and implement divine strategies for real results in your business. I'm your host, Elise Smith, Christian business strategist, and we get to empower Christian women entrepreneurs just like you to be able to partner with God, empower their mindset, and utilize biblical business strategy to take their business to the next level, reach those sales goals that God has in store for you, and create a better relationship with God in the process. So I want to ask you about your website today, ladies. So how do you feel about your website? If you have one, if you don't have one, tell us in the comments below. But is your website actually converting people from visitors into leads and clients and customers? How effective is that for you? Are you looking for ways to increase that trust factor and decrease the risk factor of working with, your products or your services? And is your website inviting people to come back over and over and over again? Well, we have an expert today on web design, which we're super excited to have. She's part of our Faithful Ladypreneurs community here. So Paula Hickey, tell us more about who you are and what you do.
So hi, everyone. Thank you, Elise, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Like Elise said, I'm a web designer and I live in Tennessee with my husband, Rex, and we have our two dogs, Riker and Buffy, and our cat, Smokey. And I've been in business for myself since 2017. I started as a virtual assistant and then slowly transitioned into web design as more and more of my clients were asking me, hey, do you know somebody that can build me a website? And I was like, yeah, me, I can do it. I can build your website. So that's how my business began to transition from virtual assistants into web design. And like I said, I live in Tennessee and I'm also a Christian, and my faith is becoming more and more important part of my business as I'm getting closer with the Lord and having a closer walk with him.
I love that. And I love how you started out as a virtual assistant and then you found the need, right? That niche that you can really hone in on. And that's a huge thing of success, is that it's so easy to try and be the jack of all trades and master of none, but that's not where productivity and that's not where profitability is at. So way to go. And I love that you brought in kind of your faith into that as well. I just want to ask you, what has partnering with God in your business done for you?
I'm learning to rely on him instead of just, especially like lately, he's made it very clear to me, wait on me. That's the verses that's been jumping out to me in my Bible study is wait. And so it's because a lot of times I want to jump in and just before I've even thought about it or prayed about it. And oftentimes that leads to a mess because I'm leading. I've got to wait on the Lord and let him lead and pray about it and seek his wisdom and advice before I do things. And so that's what's partnering with him is helping me just kind of wait on him to lead.
And waiting doesn't necessarily mean you do nothing in the process, right? But it's really waiting on that next instruction and taking the steps that he's already given you. And I can tell just by the way that you talk about it and how I've watched you on social media that there are great things that are not only happening for you right now, but are like in the works for you. And so I think that's really, really exciting and just such a good reminder to everyone who's listening or watching this is that, that it's partnering with God, it's waiting on the Lord and still taking those steps that he's given you. And that is the thing that helps you to build your business as a Christian. So, love it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about 3 keys to using your website to build trust with your audience. Now, what is it about this topic that made you choose this here today, Paula?
Because people today are so like savvy, right? They're savvy buyers. And they want to go with someone that they can trust. They're really going to research you. Before they purchase your product, before they purchase your courses, they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to go to your website. They're going to look at it. They're going to read. And there's things that you can do and add to your website that can increase that trust factor and make them want to work with you and show them that, hey, you're legitimate. You are an expert. And you can deliver on what you say that you can do. And I love that. That's what I want to help people do is, increase that trust, build that trust.
Yeah, it always goes back to like that know, like, and trust factor, right? Is that we want to make sure that we're not working with someone, a wolf in sheep's clothing, as it talks about in the Bible. We want to know that that person is going to deliver on the things that they say they're going to deliver on,
Yes.
that they have the same types of values and integrity that we have. And I think that through your website, you can do a lot of those things in a really
Yes.
powerful way. So I love the fact that this is our topic here today. So let's dive into it. What is the first key to building that trust?
So the first key to building that trust with your audience is to show that you are an authority on your chosen topic, right? And where I always talk to my clients about it, the place that you start building that or showing that authority on your website is with your about page.
Mhm.
Okay, and we've heard that a lot, that your about page is important and that you should share your story and tell about why you want to help people and how you can help them. Those things are important. Definitely got to include those on your about page, but you also want to include some other things that will speak to your expertise on your about page. And some people know this, some people don't, but Google has what's called the EAT rating. I don't know if you've heard of that before. And they have real people that audit your websites. And these are things that they look at for on your website. And especially important for people that are in the health and legal fields. But we can all use this rating system for our own websites to help increase that trust factor with Google and with our audiences too. So the EAT rating is expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So there's some things we can do on our about page that speak to each of those themes. So first, with like expertise, like you want to talk about your expertise and why you are qualified to be teaching, coaching, or doing whatever it is that you're doing. Like if you're a like for myself, I'm a web designer. So my expertise, I have I think how many years now? 13 years of WordPress experience. I've been building websites since like 1999. So I have lots of years of experience to speak to my expertise. If you have things like a college degree, certifications, list those things on your website because those speak to your expertise and say, hey, I really do know what I'm talking about. I am qualified to be teaching you this or be working with you in this way. The second thing for the about page is the authoritativeness. And that's really about who sees you as an authority, right? So think about places that you've maybe been featured, like on podcast interviews, guest blog posts, YouTube channels, wherever you've been featured, those people have recognized that you're an authority and that on what you're talking about on your niche. So list those things on your about page, include those on your about page. You can do it in several different ways. You can have links to that, or you can have maybe we've all seen them, the little featured in like Forbes, Entrepreneur, something like that on your about page to show that, hey, these people recognize that you're an authority. And that helps with that trust to see that other people see you as an authority. It's not just you saying, hey, I'm an authority. No, others have recognized it as well. And it doesn't have to be big names like Forbes or Entrepreneur that you put on there on your website. It's just people that are other people that are recognized as authority in your niche, in your industry. Those are the ones that you can include there. And before going any further, I do want to say, like, if you don't have this to start with, please don't get worried about it. I know people start, oh no, I don't have these things. That's okay. You start working toward getting those things and knowing that, hey, as you get them, you should include them on your website, right? You don't have to have them to start with. That's something that you can add. That's my first tip, though, is about showing your authority. And that's two ways you can do that on your about page, by speaking to your expertise and authoritativeness.
Awesome. And what's the T again in the EAT rating?
Trustworthiness.
Awesome. So that kind of just comes with the authoritativeness and the expertise.
Yeah, it's under like social proof, which would be like my second tip.
Awesome. I love that. I haven't heard of the EAT rating, so that is amazing. So basically Google comes in and rates you with a higher EAT rating, and so therefore you're kind of higher up on
It doesn't really, it's not like a huge search or SEO factor,
Mhm.
but it is something that they take into account because they want to deliver the best websites for that search result. So, and they want to make sure that the website that's showing up in the search results are accurate and trustworthy, and they do fully have that expertise. They want to make sure that they're showing the best result possible. So that's why they have those real researchers going out and visiting the websites and rating them.
How neat. I love that. Anything that we can do for SEO or search engine optimization is a good thing, ladies. So
Yeah.
let's definitely roll with that. So authority, I think that that's huge. And think about, we always try to think about how Jesus Christ is our exemplar in everything, especially when it comes to business. And, it's not that he talked about himself in different ways, but people were talking about him. And that's the thing, I think, when it comes to that authoritativeness, like you just said, is what are people's experiences with you, and where have you been featured, and what have you been doing? Like Jesus could say, oh, I did the Sermon on the Mount, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know it's kind of a funny way to look at it, but I think it's really important. And I love the fact that that's our first key. So what is our second key?
The second key is the social proof, and that's where the trustworthiness comes in from the EAT rating.
Awesome.
Because that's, people that have worked with you are saying, yes, she can do what she says she can do. I've got this kind of result from working with her. So it's about those testimonials that you're going to have on your website, or case studies. Case studies are a really great way to show social proof and show that, show how your process works and show the kind of transformation people can get from working with you. Other types of testimonials, you can do video testimonials, audio testimonials, screenshots. Someone's like says something really great about you on social media, so you can share those screenshots and you can put those on your about page, but you also want to sprinkle them throughout your website. You want to have them on your home page, on your work with me page, any sales pages or landing pages that you have, to really capture everybody that's coming in, wherever they might be coming into your website from. You've got those testimonials there in different formats, different varieties, because we all consume contents in different ways. So that's one reason why it's good to have those different varieties if possible. And again, like if you don't have any, this is something to work toward, right? Don't like get discouraged that you don't have any yet. Just know that, okay, I need to maybe take time this week to reach out to 2 past clients and get testimonials and get those on my website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And as far as like the types of testimonials you want to have, it's good to have those that speak to your integrity, speak to your work ethic, and those kinds of things. But you also want to look for some testimonials that really show the transformation, where someone can say, hey, I was in this place when I started working with you, but this is where I'm at now. This is the transformation I got. And also, if you can get testimonials that speak to objections, like if you have certain kinds of objections that come up about your courses or your programs, maybe pricing is an objection, but you have someone that says it was worth every penny, include testimonials like that too, that will kind of decrease that risk factor for people as they're reading them, like, okay, she got it. It was worth it for her. It will be worth it for me.
Love that. And I love the intentionality behind it as well, right?
Right.
Sometimes when we ask people to give us like a review on Google or, give us a testimonial, it's like, just tell me about your experience. But if you can give it a little bit more structure of tell me about the before and the after and that transformation that you've been able to gain by working with me. One of the things that we teach here at Divinely Driven Results is when someone has an aha moment with you, especially if you're a coach or if you've delivered on something like a service that they're just like super excited about, remind them right then and there to go onto social media, create a post, have you tagged in it, just because the fire is there, the excitement and the passion and all of that is there. And why not, strike when the iron's hot, and then they tag you and then you can take that screenshot and put it on your website, right?
Exactly. And just don't be afraid to ask,
Yeah, for sure. And I think most people want to tell about their experiences. Like you go see a good movie and you want to go tell your friends about it. So why not take advantage of that to be able to help them and you? So
Exactly.
Awesome. And I like how you said to sprinkle them throughout your website too. Don't just have one page where they can see all of your testimonials, but have, multiple different pages that have your testimonials, especially where there's a call to action, like your
Yes.
landing page or your sales page, because people are thinking about those different types of things and including the objections in there. Golden, Paula. I love it.
Thank you.
Good. What is number 3?
So number 3 is a little more on the techie side, but I hope it won't be too techie, but it's really security and accessibility. So what it's really about is just making sure that people feel secure and welcome on your website. So a few things for security is making sure you have the SSL certificate on your website. If you're not sure, if you go to your website in the Chrome browser, you should have a little padlock next to your URL. And if you have that, then you have the SSL certificate. If you don't see that, I would recommend reaching out to your host, because a lot of them offer those now for free. So take advantage of that and go ahead and get that on there. And what that does is it keeps any information that's sent via your website secure. And people, like I said, they're savvy now. They look for those things. If they get notified, oh, this website isn't secure, then they're not going to go on to your website. They're going to notice that. Making sure that you have your policies in place on your website. So I'm not a lawyer, but there are, so you want to do your due diligence to see what types of policies you need. We all need privacy policies and cookie policies and things like that. So just making sure that you have those on your website, because people, again, they're looking for those things, especially if you're going to be working with someone who is also in business. They definitely know to look for those things. And that just brings, again, that trust and says, okay, this is a legitimate business. They take their business seriously. They have these things in place. Some different policies, like I mentioned, was the cookie policy, privacy policy, terms and conditions, affiliate disclaimers, disclosures. Those are things you want to look into, seeing that you may need to have on your website. And the third thing I mentioned to some people, but it's not like a must-have, is you might money back guarantees or guarantees, refund policies, those kinds of things you want to have in place as well. That can, especially if you have a high ticket program, it can help decrease that risk factor a little bit if you have some kind of money back guarantee. Again, it's not a must, but it's something to consider, as far as security. Accessibility is the other thing, and it's a big topic, but accessibility is just about making sure that your website is accessible to everyone. And that includes people who maybe have vision or hearing or mobility impairments. And there's some things that you can do to make your website more welcoming for people, and that use like screen readers and things. And I'm going to go through a lot. But we'll start with alt text. That is for images, is where you put the description in. So like at one point in time, this is what I was taught. Alt text is where you put your SEO keywords. I think we were all taught that back in the old blogging days. It's really not. Alt text is where you should put the description of the image, so that screen readers can tell anyone that's using a screen reader, this is what this image is. And you can be as descriptive as you want with it. And you can put keywords there if it naturally fits in with the image. So that is fine. You're just making sure you're using proper heading hierarchy, like in your blog posts and on your pages. So, and the headings are, you got your H1 heading, H2, H3, and so on. Each page should just have one H1 heading, and then the remaining points will have H2 or H3. So just making sure you're using those properly. That helps the screen reader deliver the content properly when it's reading it. And it also makes for a more pleasant viewing experience as well. When you're on a website, it makes the content easier to scan and easier to read if you're using your headings properly. If you also making sure you have a good font size. The minimum font size now is actually 18 pixels. It used to be like 12, so it's actually went up quite a bit. And that you can do 16 on mobile, but just making sure you have that proper sizing, and that's what Google recommends actually, is 18 pixels. Making sure that your links stand out, right? Like they don't blend in. So you want to either maybe use your accent color on your links or put an underline on your link. Underline has basically been, since the internet's been around, the indicator that this is the link. But making sure it stands out from the text so that people know that they should click on that. Also, just making sure you have good contrast between your text and the background. So basically, you don't want to, a good rule of thumb is to have a light text on a dark background and a dark text on a lighter background. If you just kind of keep that in mind, you won't want to have a dark text on a dark background. Then there's not going to be that contrast and it's going to be hard to read. Another thing that is really good for accessibility is to make sure that your navigation is clear, that you have it where someone can really see it well. Users expect it in certain places, like they expect to see your navigation at the top of your website when they land on your website, and then they expect to see it again, probably in your footer. They expect to see some links down there. So just making sure that your navigation is clear and not hidden so that people can easily find it. And those are just some of the some best practices for accessibility. There's all kinds of stuff in it too. That's some good place to start. There's also a plugin if you use WordPress called One-Click Accessibility. There's lots of different plugins, but this is the one that I like and use. And it just it gives the user a little more control over how they view your website in their browser. So they can enlarge the text if they want to. They can make the background darker if you have a light background. So it just helps with their viewing experience. And it's something to consider adding to your website if you'd like to.
Awesome. I love that you're helping us to think about it in a different light, right? Like when we're building our website, we're like, okay, what am I saying? And, what kind of pictures do I use? And just even the concept of a screen reader. Like I had completely forgotten that there's like software out there that will help us to, help people who are having a hard time with that to be able to view our website. And it's those simple things that help to build that know, like, and trust factor with everyone at that accessibility level and that security level. So I think you've given us some great tips to think about here today. Now, if they want to know more about how to work with you or what you're up to, where can they go?
Well, you can visit my website, which is paulasextonhickey.com. And I'm also on Instagram at paulahickeyva. And I do have a little free gift for anybody that would like to use it. It's the Write Your Client Getting websites. It can help you write out the content that you need. If you're struggling with that, it can help you write out the content for your website. And it's at paulasextonhickey.com/planner. That's where you can find it.
Awesome. And we'll definitely make sure we include those links here in this video. But let's review. You've got authority, social proof, and security/accessibility.
Yes.
So take inventory of your websites, ladies, and just see where you're at and where you want to be, because that's the whole point. We're going for progress, not perfection. And so understand, where you're at right now, and maybe just choose one thing at a time to focus on. One of the things that Paula said over and over again, which I love, because I was just going to ask her to say, like, what if you don't have this, right? Is to start where you're at. Don't let it, don't let that perfection be the enemy of progress. Just start where you're at and add one thing at a time. And then your website is going to improve over time. I know that I've seen that in my own website, like, holy cow, I know the SSL thing because my first website was not secure. And I did not realize it. Exactly. And so it's just these little things that we can kind of pick up and focus on as we go. But it really will help to build trust with our audience. And the more that we build that trust and the more people that we get onto our websites, then the more opportunity that we have to be able to share that message that God has given us to share. And so thank you so much, Paula, for being here today. It's been great to have your amazing energy and also your great expertise and the great tips that you've shown. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about.
I love it. And if you guys want more tips on how to grow your business in the Lord's way, make sure that you come join our Faithful Ladypreneurs Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group for Christian women entrepreneurs, where you get to learn great tips on how to build your business in the Lord's way as opposed to the world's way. You can connect with other Christian women entrepreneurs, and you can even advertise your business on Saturday's comment thread, and go get your amazing free gift from Paula as well. So thank you so much for being here, guys. And we will see you next time on Divinely Driven Results.